Video games can actually save your life. This Ukrainian soldier defeated the most powerful Russian tank with only a small scouting vehicle and some video game experience. This is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. The Russian T-90 tank is one of the scariest tanks in the world. It's equipped with 3 massive anti-tank guns, a devastating machine gun, and 3 layers of unbreakable armor. To make matters worse, the Ukrainian soldier was driving a Bradley, a small American military vehicle that's used more for scouting than actual combat. How on earth did he win this impossible battle? According to him, he used his experience playing video games to formulate a strategy on how and where to strike the tank. Instead of attacking its unbreakable armor, he targeted the tank's optic systems, blinding the Russian soldiers and making it impossible for them to see. The tank then spun out of control and crashed into a tree. And this is how video games can actually save your life. Zhenghua Yang was only 18 years old when he was diagnosed with a severe terminal blood disease. This disease caused him to bleed when he made even the slightest muscle movements. His doctors said he would not survive longer than a few days. What happens next is one of the most incredible miracle stories you'll ever hear. Being confined to his bed and unable to move, the only thing he could do was play video games. He started playing League of Legends and felt some sort of hope and joy through improving his skills and ranking up. He also made a few important online friends. These friends would check on him every day to make sure he was taking his medicine and getting enough rest. Then one day, the ultimate miracle happened. One of his online gaming friends happened to be a medical researcher who was able to connect him to some of the best blood doctors in the world. This gave him enough hope to keep fighting, and after 2 years of being hospitalized, he made a complete and full recovery. And this is how a young Ukrainian gamer was woken up by a loud noise at 5 a.m. He assumed it was just a thunderstorm until he looked up at the sky and realized not a single cloud was in sight. That's when he knew it was something far more threatening. It turns out pro-Russian separatists were attacking his hometown, and those loud noises were gunshots and explosions. He had to flee his city, but he had nowhere else to go either. And that's when Steam actually saved his life. He logged on to his old Steam account and found an old gaming buddy from Odessa, whom he used to play Team Fortress 2 with. He explained his situation, and this friend offered him a temporary place to stay. While staying with his friend in Odessa, he managed to muster up his last $300 to buy a plane ticket to the Czech Republic and claim asylum at the border. And this is how video games can actually save your life. This incredible event happened in 2007 in a small village in Norway. A 12-year-old Norwegian boy named Hans and his 10-year-old sister were walking to school when a large, aggressive moose appeared in front of them. The beast had been terrorizing the neighborhood for a while now and was prepared to make them his next victims. How did this defenseless 12-year-old child get out of this deadly situation? The answer is World of Warcraft. Hans was an avid WoW player, and in this moment, he remembered the taunt ability that most tanks in the game have. This ability forces the enemy to focus on you. So Hans began to run away, wildly screaming and taunting the moose. It worked. Just like in Warcraft, the moose focused on and chased after him, allowing his sister to run away safely. But wait, what about the boy? Unfortunately for our hero, the moose would eventually catch up to him, strike him, and send him tumbling down a hill. Luckily, however, his backpack absorbed most of the hit. He then remembered another ability from World of Warcraft, feign death. He pretended to be dead, observing the animal through half-open eyes. It worked. The moose bought the act and simply walked away. And this is how
video games can actually save your life. 11-year-old Charlie Cullen was riding in the car with his 79-year-old grandfather when something went terribly wrong. The old grandpa suddenly lost consciousness and his foot crashed down on the gas pedal. The car reached a treacherous speed of 117 kilometers per hour on a busy main road. Under normal circumstances, this would have ended in utter disaster, but Charlie was an avid GTA 5 player. He reacted bravely and swiftly, relying on his GTA 5 gaming experience to grab a hold of the steering wheel and make a sharp left turn, avoiding a huge drop into a river and eventually crashing into a wall. He then pulled his unconscious, bleeding grandfather out of the vehicle and even dragged him all the way home. Both of them suffered serious injuries and had to be hospitalized, but they would both ultimately end up surviving. After the incident, Charlie said, "The only way I had any experience was the Grand Theft Auto game." And this is how